Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. My name's Stephanie and I'm glad you're here, and I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button and stick around for a little bit because I have some really awesome DIYs coming up. Today I want to show you how I made this adorable chick centerpiece for spring and Easter. For today's project, I used one of the large plastic paintable eggs I got last year at Walmart, an adorable little chick I found at TJ Maxx, Krylon Dark Vintage Antiquing Wax, Krylon Chalky Finish Paint and Freshly Baked, 150 grit sandpaper and my sanding block from Dollar Tree, a marker, my paintbrush, an X-Acto knife, my wax paintbrush, some Rust-Oleum hammered spray paint in black, Rust-Oleum spray paint in aluminum, some Easter grass I got at Hobby Lobby, and one of the oval wire baskets from Dollar Tree. I started out by roughly sketching where I wanted to cut along the egg. I wanted to make it look like the egg had cracked so the chick could hatch. Once I had the lines sketched out, I used an X-Acto knife to start cutting around them. I didn't worry too much about cutting exactly along the lines, just close enough. I wanted this to look kind of natural, so if I went zigzaggy, that was perfectly fine with me. I did realize fairly quickly that the X-Acto knife was not going to be the best and fastest way to cut this egg out. So I did switch to a pair of scissors that I got from the Dollar Tree. This was so much easier and so much faster. Once my egg was cut apart, I then took the sanding paper and sanding block and sanded all around the edges to make sure they were good and smooth, and I sanded the tips so they weren't sharp. Now that both pieces of the egg are good and smooth, I used the Krylon Chalky Finish Paint and Freshly Baked and gave both pieces a full even coat. Once the outside was completely dry, I just went in and painted the inside. I did this on both the top and bottom and only used one coat. Once the insides had time to dry, I go back and put a second coat on the outside. While the second coat of paint is still wet, I apply the Dark Vintage Antiquing Wax. I do this because I love the way the two colors mix together, and I think it creates a beautiful brownish beige color, and it was the perfect color for this egg. While the egg's drying, I'm going to take my basket from Dollar Tree and my aluminum spray paint by Rust-Oleum outside and give the basket one good coat. Once that's dry, I'm going to take the hammered black spray paint and randomly spray areas of the basket to give it that worn look. I absolutely love how this basket turned out. I think it's perfect for farmhouse. Now I'm going to take this grass and pull the pieces apart. These come off super easy. They're just held on by like a little nodule. Now that I have all the grass pieces pulled apart, I'm going to take my hot glue gun and glue them to the bottom of the basket. I will give you a heads up that it'll be much easier if you put this on a cutting mat or something that it's not going to stick to. I had a little bit of problem getting it off the paper. I just started by going around the outside of the basket and then filled in the center. Now that I have all the grass in the bottom of the basket, it's time to assemble the chick. I'm going to take my 2 halves of egg, the cute little chick, and some rocks from Dollar Tree. I start by putting the egg in the center and putting the rocks inside the egg to keep it from moving and so that it would stand up straight. I was happy with the position of the egg, I then went and removed the collar and ears from the little chick. You don't necessarily have to do this, but I wanted a more realistic look for my centerpiece. The collar was very easy to remove. It was just hot glued on, so I just snipped it and then pulled it off. The ears, on the other hand, was another story. They were actually hot glued and then also stuck down into the poor little chick's head. After struggling with the ears for a little bit, I decided to get my wire cutters. Once I got them cut, I just simply pulled the wire out of the top of the head and then pulled the ears out. This did bring some of its little fluffy fur off, so I just went in later and used the hot glue gun and glued it back on. You'll see that once I get finished here. And as you can see, pulling the headband and ears off pulled some of his little feathers off. So I'm just taking the feathers and hot gluing them back on. Now that the little guy's got his feathers put back in, I'm going to take the top of the egg and place it to where I think it looks cute, like he's cracking out of it. Once I'm happy with the placement, I'm going to take my hot glue gun and tack it into place. To decorate the inside, I'm going to use this green Spanish moss from Walmart, some lavender picks from Walmart, and this greenery pick from Dollar Tree. I didn't like that you could see down into the egg, so I took the green Spanish moss and just stuffed it in there so you couldn't see the rocks or anything. Next, I'm going to take some of the lavender picks and just start randomly placing them in the arrangement. I took 3 of them and placed them inside the egg at the back to make it look like the lavender was growing up out of the egg. I then took the greenery from Dollar Tree and started sticking it around the basket. I just had to play with this until I was happy with it. I added more lavender and more greenery. And here he is all finished. I absolutely love how it turned out. The pop of color from the lavender is just perfect for spring. I think this is absolutely precious, set in between the 2 candle holders and candles that I made earlier this week. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to check out my other videos. Also hit that subscribe button because I have a lot more fun DIYs on the way. I'll see you next time.